I am joined now by Colorado State Representative Brianna Titone. She's the first openly transgender lawmaker in Colorado. I want to extend my condolences to you and your entire state for this horrific tragedy.
Thank you, Kristen.
Can you just take us inside your head and your heart right now and how you are coping now a day or two after learning about these precious lives that have been lost and the community that's been shattered?
Well, I mean, Sunday morning when I woke up, it was just, I was inundated with text messages and notifications from people in the community, asking if I was okay, if maybe I was at that club. But there's just been so much anger inside and a lot of sadness for the victims and the victims' families and their friends and the community. But I've had to put a lot of that aside to speak about this and to really try to put those feelings and a lot of the observations that I've made into words to really try to make a difference here, because that's what we need to do, is try to get people to not say hateful things about this community. We just want to live our lives and enjoy our lives in peace and not have to look over our shoulders every day and think about what could be coming towards us.
So I want to get to that point. What can actually be done? And just to put this into context, this is according to the Human Rights Campaign, which reports that 32 trans and gender nonconforming people have been killed in 2022 alone. Now, we gave these facts yesterday on the show as well, but we want to repeat them because they are so significant. And 300 anti-LGBTQ bills were introduced in state legislatures, 25 of which have actually passed. Have you personally seen an increase in anti-trans rhetoric? And what can you do about it? How do you see your role in trying to address this issue?
Well, yeah, this has just been an increase year after year. We've seen more and more bills being introduced and more of these bills passing. And it's really causing a panic. A lot of people in these states that are having these laws passed, they're really scared for themselves. They feel like a refugee in their own state. In our country, they feel like a refugee. So we need to just address the people that are spreading these rumors and these tropes and the lies. And we need to call that out. Having people like myself to speak on these issues is important, because I don't think a lot of people knew who I was before. And it's important to know that there are people who look like me who are doing this work all over the country, are being elected and representing people. And we're just here to do this job like anyone else and to make our community a better place for everyone. And we just want to live our lives without fear of violence.
Is there anything that you think can be done legislatively at the state and or federal level to try to better protect members of the LGBTQ community and the trans community particularly?
At the federal level, definitely. There's a lot of patchwork going on right now from state to state. So depending on where you live, you have less rights or more rights. In Colorado, we're doing very well here. We have a lot of rights and a lot of protections. But when it comes to someone walking into a club and shooting it up, there's nothing that's going to stop that. We have laws against that. Can we do more to prevent it? Colorado has done a lot. We have an Office of Gun Violence Prevention. We're studying this to make sure we get the right solutions. We have a red flag law. We have a safe storage law. We have a lot of different gun protections, but, there's a lot of unanswered questions that we have right now about the perpetrator and what the motives were, and those past cases that we don't know a lot about. And that's really going to drive what we end up doing in our session to try to address some of these issues. But we want to be careful to make sure that we get it right. But we do want to protect everyone as much as we can.
I want to follow up with you on the red flag laws. We obviously don't know specifically how the shooter got the weapon yet at this time. And yet we do know that El Paso has been criticized for not really enforcing the red flag laws that are in place. Can Colorado do more? at the state level to try to pressure El Paso County to better enforce red flag laws? What needs to happen around that issue?
Well, when we passed the red flag law and jurisdictions like El Paso County said, we're not going to do that. That really set up a lot of questions for us as to, how do we get law enforcement agents to participate? And this is, if this case could have ended up with a red flag law taking away this person's firearms or preventing them from getting it, this is the worst case scenario that we could think about. And this is what we were trying to avoid. So we're going to have to go back to the drawing board and see if there's more things that we can do for these rare situations that does arise. And sometimes we need to open our eyes to these situations to understand what we haven't done.
State Representative Brianna Titone, as you said, your voice is so important, and it is ever more so on a day and week like today. Thank you so much for bringing us your perspective. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.